Do you guys remember that time in the Halloween movies where Michael Myers just sprinted at Laurie Strode and she had zero time to react to any of his movements because he was just moving so fast? Yeah, me neither. The Myers I know is more in line with a slow, methodical monster that becomes more focused and lethal as the movie progresses. He is so consumed by his obsession that he becomes nigh unstoppable to get to his targets. That's the Myers I wanted to convey in this rework I created, as I was unsatisfied with the most recent post in the PTB. Due to the combination of base kit upgrades to the survivors and, well, frankly, players are just better at the game, the concerns for giving up early pressure is something that pre-rework Myers really struggled with. However, we are taking this weakness and turning it into a true strength late game, making the payoff better and creating the most atmospheric and lethal killer in Dead by Daylight history, at least in the last stages of a match. Firstly, we will go over the power and how it works, elaborating on it as we go along, and then I will circle back around and cover why I think my version of the power is better than the current iterations we have. Sound like a plan? I thought so. Let's get into it. Evil Within. The Shape has two modes he can switch between, Stalker and Pursuer. Each survivor has a pool of 100 isolation points. While in Stalker mode, you can use the secondary action button to stalk a survivor and absorb these points. Hitting a survivor will also absorb 15 points. Each time you obtain 100 isolation points, you enter a deeper stage of Evil Within for the rest of the trial. Every stack of Evil Within grants you a 5% bonus to all actions and recovery events up to a maximum of 20%. This will affect the following: Vault Speed, Attack Recovery Speed, Pickup Speed, Dropping Speed, Stun Recovery Speed, Break Action Speed, Hook Speed, Flashlight Recovery Speed, Hindrance Recovery Speed, and Blindness Recovery Speed. The Shape can't exceed a value higher than 95% in any of these categories. Truthfully, I put this clause in the effect because there are just so many perks in Dead by Daylight these days, and while I did look at a few during balancing, there's no way I could account for nearly all 300 of them at the time of this video, so I would rather put this clause in to allow people to have skill expression with a hard cap to keep things from breaking the game. Once you obtain 400 isolation points, you enter Evil Incarnate mode for the rest of the trial. If a survivor is killed or sacrificed, any remaining isolation points they have are evenly distributed to the remaining survivors. So I chose this design because looking at how Michael Myers conducts himself in the movies is, well, he's slow and methodical at first, stalking and playing mind games and creating a sense of isolation and dread in his targets before ramping up into an unstoppable brute that will smash walls to get a hold of you. I think these changes really reflect that. A true late game killer that shines the longer the trial persists. Stalker mode. Your base movement speed is reduced to 110% or 4.4 meters. You gain the undetectable status and are completely invisible to survivors outside of 40 meters. Your base movement speed increases to 150% or 6.0 meters while not in chase or within line of sight of a survivor within 40 meters. This speed is comparable to Wraith when cloaked. I think it is also important to note here that survivors do not have to be looking at you to lose this benefit. Think of a sphere around the survivor that is 40 meters in diameter. Objects can still cast an appropriate shadow to hide you from this aura, but if you're ever in the line of sight of the survivor, you lose this benefit. In this mode, you can stalk survivors within 40 meters, reducing your own movement speed by 50% or 2.2 meters. While stalking, you drain isolation points at the rate of 5 points per second while moving and 10 points per second while standing still. Survivors' auras will be white while stalking and slowly begin to turn red to represent how much stalk they have left, very similar to pre-rework Myers. Survivors will also get a global audio cue per 100 isolation points that are gained. It'll be the Dissident piano theme we see in the PTB, and in the current reworked Myers. This was a classic sound in the Halloween series, and it was originally in the 2016 PTB release of The Shape. They brought it back in the most recent rework, which I'm super happy about, so I wanted to give it a use in this version too. It sounds just like this. I think this is probably one of the bigger changes, and it might seem a little weird, but I think this stems from the opener. Michael Myers does not sprint. He walks and then cuts you off when you least expect it, or nearly teleports in some aspects. I think this mode would express that. This also would work twofold, as it will give Myers the mobility around the map that he desperately needs, and keeping it realistic for the survivors as they will never see you move at that speed. This will also keep them on the edge of their seat and observant of their surroundings. Imagine the survivors' horror whenever they lose sight of you and they pan the camera around just to see you've circled the main building and are now coming towards them from a new angle. A truly horrifying and authentic Myers experience. This will also make for fun mind games and jump scares through the course of a game. The distance and visibility aspect of this mode is mainly for smoothness and is much weaker when compared to the Wraith, as he has the same mechanic but at 24 meters. As for the implementation of this, I would just reverse the stalk mechanics and center it on the survivor, spanning 40 meters. Objects can still break line of sight, casting the appropriate shadow like we spoke about before. As for playing the killer, you're just going to have to suspend your disbelief on this one and roll with it. But I did not want to add another teleport to the game that is already oversaturated with them. If this idea is too complex for you or you just hate it, then replace it with a boring teleport for a similar result, just keep the rest. Pursuer mode. Your base movement speed becomes 115% or 4.6 meters. You lose the undetectable status and the ability to stalk survivors. Your lunge distance is increased by 10%, additionally you gain another bonus 10% to all action recovery events, and this stacks with the original bonuses from Evil Within. This seems simple on paper, and honestly it is. It simply sheds your undetectable for more lethality, something you can switch to pressure survivors while making you a little bit more durable. Evil Incarnate. After absorbing 400 isolation points, all survivors across the map gain an audio cue. The Halloween theme, of course. As you lift your knife into the air and enter Evil Incarnate mode for the rest of the trial. While in this state, you gain the following benefits. You enter Pursuer mode and can no longer enter Stalker mode. Your base movement speed becomes 120% or 4.8 meters. Your base terror radius becomes 40 meters. And you gain the ability to kill survivors that are on their last hook stage, if they are in the dying state or within melee range. So just to recap, your flat buffs while in this mode are 20% from Evil Within 4, and the bonus 10% from Pursuer mode, granting you a flat 30% buff to all of those values we listed before. This is the bread and butter, the goal of the game, the Apex Meyer experience. Drawing inspiration from the old Iridescent add-on, this will give the adrenaline rush to the survivors where they're like, oh shit, he's maxed out. That feeling is so unique to Myers and I want to preserve that. This is the long-term payoff you have worked for all game. You become faster, more lethal, and shrug off anything that they can throw at you. Now, you don't expose them anymore, but this makes you very relentless for the rest of the game, especially if you pair it with a ton of perk combinations that make this even more effective, and that is actually what I love about this idea the most. The unlimited amount of perk combinations you can use with Dead by Daylight's most important licensed content, creating the perfect love letter to the Mouse 1 killer. So what do you guys think? Is this a really awesome idea that's authentic to Myers, or did I miss the mark? If so, tell me what you like and disliked. Also, if you enjoyed yourself, I would truly appreciate it if you left a like and considered subscribing, as it really helps me navigate through the entity known as the algorithm. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Actually, hold up, wait. Can we actually throw one more thing in here? Can we, for the love of everything that is great and good in the world, can we rework the way Myers looks, please? Just throwing that in here at the end. Like, Laurie got an update and she looks awesome. Myers still doesn't even look like Myers, so let's put that in there somewhere as well. Anyways, this time for real. Bye!